Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to episode 167 of Fans of Power. I am your co-host for the evening, Nathan Kennedy, here with Tyler Baker. I think Joe's feeling okay now. I think he's recouping, he's recovering. He had some stuff going on, as he said last week, so he is not going to be present for this episode. I know in the description or the title of this, we just have the commentary that we're going to be doing today, but we're just going to kind of fly by the seat of our pants on this one and see where it takes us.
Pretty much, yeah. We're just we're gonna wing it, and we have something one thing planned here, but we feel like we can just kind of do it improv style, So
Well, I mean, it's usually improv style, but
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
but
this
if
time
anyone's worried about Joe, don't worry. He's got a bright future as a white male, so don't worry. I'm sure he'll be back next week. So
sure.
Yeah.
With that said, I know that Joe always likes to kind of dig into some toy talk a little bit. I will talk about some things that I've seen in the stores, but first I'll say hello to Zentron, your favorite blockhead, Febmon, and Sportimus, and JD Gibson, and I'm sure more will start to flood in, and I'll do the motto thing and make sure I try to acknowledge everybody in here. So. Welcome. Yeah, but I went into Walmart and I saw those Mega Construct at two different stores, actually. I saw the Wind Raider. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. I was worried I was going to mess it up. I saw that $20, decent sized box, but I think about how small those figures are. And I started thinking, like, well, if the figures fit in there and it's true to the size and proportions of the figure, that thing can't be too big.
No.
I might need to look up some reviews on that because the box art on it looks cool. It's awesome looking, but I just kind of look at it like those Lego sets.
Yes.
Like you look at the boxes and everything, it looks bigger than it is, and you see it on display, and it's just like that. I spent $150, and that's how big this is. Like that's,
Yeah, it really kind of comes down to you really got to enjoy putting that stuff together because you're not going to get like this big. Because I know some of those Lego sets back in the some of them were pretty good size, but I guess I just kind of have to assume that because I never saw too many of the big ones in person. So
right, but I'm considering picking that up, and then I also saw the set that's it's He-Man, Skeletor, Faker,
Tila,
Beastman, maybe
Beastman's in it, yeah.
So it's just the packaging on that looks cool as well. I don't know what the price was on that because when I went, they had them just stacked on a shelf. And I don't know if someone had picked those up and moved them, but I didn't bother to really look for the price. But the Wind Raider is $20, which I think that's fair, given how many pieces it is. Yeah, it's not bad. So, and then, of course, we saw the G1 reissue Optimus Prime, which I'm so conflicted on it because the price... $50, and I'm just like, I can't. Maybe I'll spend the money on this, but as you told me when you saw it, you're like, yeah, it's cool, but it's missing the trailer. It's just, it's to me that's not complete. I wonder what the thought process was behind that. It seems like you're missing half the figure and charging
getting
twice
away
as much.
with as little as possible and charging as much as possible. That sounds like Hasbro's. I mean. But when you look at that Constructicon set, which is only like $20, $25 more, and you can make Devastator out of that, you get all 6 Constructicons. That's like, okay, it's expensive, but there's more to it.
Right.
This is just Optimus by himself, a small version for $50. So yeah.
If it's going to be anything like how the Constructicon set was and Starscream was, and especially Hot Rod, because no one bought Hot Rod, they did mark those down. So maybe if we play it smart and wait a couple months, they'll get clearanced. But I don't know. Those things just aren't flying off the shelves. You would think that they would disappear pretty quick, but I guess most of the people already have.
If you're a hardcore Transformers fan, I'm sure that they've got multitudes of variations of all those characters from a G1 throwback to they've done reissues before in the past too. So,
but you said Soundwave is going to be coming out soon.
Soundwave is supposed to be part of this.
Yeah, I feel like I need to throw down the money for that one.
Yeah, I will too. I may have to hit up Amato for some lessons on how to be cheap for a week or two, and like how can I How can I get cheaper than I already am here? What can I do to harness the power of the almighty dollar?
Dollar Tree.
Maybe we're lucky.
You're gonna have to switch your diet up from turkey burgers to El Monterey burritos.
I might have to go on like a thick diet because I have 3 burritos a day for 7 days a week. Yeah, you do the math there.
I mean, it might be a decent source of protein in those, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh man, and I guess in some the other toy stuff, I haven't gotten mine yet because my figure is still lost in California somewhere. I'm waiting for it to move from that facility and head this way. But you picked up where NECA is doing the kind of like the tribute to the Kenner line.
Yeah.
Any thoughts? Like I love the packaging. I love the card art and everything. You said that you just discarded that because you're like, I might keep that piece. Like obviously I'm going to take it out, but I might actually keep the card.
I'm sorry if it's current packaging, I'm not keeping it. It's got to be vintage packaging for me to want to keep packaging anymore. Like I don't get much benefit out of keeping new packaging, even if it's the Transformers reissue boxes. I actually cut those up and hung up like parts of it on my fridge.
Oh that'd be cool.
Yeah, and that's what I did with Starscream and the Constructicon set. So, I guess I could have done that with the Terminator, but I didn't think about that. It's just one of those things like I just can't afford to keep clutter.
Right.
So therefore, I just throw it away. But if I get another one of those, which I probably won't at this point, I got the one that I really wanted. I would keep the box art and cut it up and put it on the fridge for display.
I'm actually gonna look at this now and see if it's still. That's maybe they just sent me another one because it's showing here that my package arrived in El Segundo, California last Tuesday, and now there's a notification that the package has left the LA distribution center, which is what it had done the previous Thursday. I don't know. Tracking packages is weird, but eventually I'll get that and all will be well. And I have to figure out where I'm going to put them.
Which won't be hard, believe me. You'll want to keep them on display in a prominent place. I'll just tell you that when you get them in hand.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going to throw this out there, and I want to apologize to the listeners too. But without Joe being here, it's a kind of a different. I always feel this way whenever
he's trying to give you your toy talk. So people who want their toy talk fix, Nathan is trying to fill those shoes. So.
Well, here's the thing too. I mean, other than the Mega Constructs figures, I haven't gone back to Hot Topic to see if any of those loyal subjects have shown up. I went a couple weeks ago. Nothing, no hint of anything. I didn't ask. I'm not like Joe. I'm not gonna go and flirt with the girls that are working there like he does. But
you don't want to flirt with the ones that are Hot Topic.
That's true. You're not wrong. But I'm hoping that they're out there available. I'm hoping some of these guys have been able, if they want them, to snag them up, because that Orko looks cool. And then the Primal Age, the DC figures, those have started showing up at Target. Our Target had them on like an end cap display, so don't go to the NECA section where all the other figures are. Go to where the actual toys themselves, and maybe they'll have an end cap display there too.
They didn't look like they had many left.
No, I'm kind of curious, like how much was actually on there at one point, or if this was just like they got one case and threw like 7 figures on the peg, and people are like, well, I want Batman, because it was Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, and Aquaman were the 3 that were left.
Okay, because I looked at the picture you sent. It was like I all I saw was Scarecrow, and I couldn't make out the other one, who happened to be Aquaman, because I would have recognized Mr. Freeze, which is the one I want the most.
And they also had the Bat Hound.
Yeah, Ace.
Yeah. I mean, looks cool, and those would fit perfectly with your vintage.
I do want to get Ace so
figures.
I can put Clamp Champ on display with them. That's what I want to do.
And reasonably priced. I want to say the Bat Hound was
15 $20,
15, 20, 15, 20, something like that.
Okay,
it was reasonable. I was kind of surprised, but not really, because these other figures run you anywhere from 10 to 15 depending on where you go. Hello to Kevin Sharp. Thanks for
Kevin. Thanks for joining us there, bud.
I'm sure he's got some new ideas, or you got some new ideas for him.
As a matter of fact, I do.
But our commentary is gonna be Orko's Garden from the NYP series. Man, I watching this again because I honestly haven't really watched any of the NYP episodes since they were coming on TV 17 years ago now. And I was looking at the episode list, and I kind of stopped right around this time because that's when it was becoming an issue of your reruns, and they're changing the time slots. And
I do remember you did watch The Rise of the Snake Man, because I remember you and my brother were making fun of me for a merman dying. I'm like, I'm not pissed off. I'm saying it was awesome, but you guys thought I was being like all Sandy
dramatic
about it.
You're being all dramatic about it.
Yeah, but I was like, this is ballsy. This is awesome. Then they're just like, no, we're not actually going to kill him. We didn't have the balls not to do that. So.
But it's coming back to this, and once we get into the commentary here, it's what was the general? What's the general consensus of NYP now? Is it how does it stand with the fandom overall, for the most part?
It's pretty well beloved, but I think people like the action and the updates. The stories can be, debated about quality. Like, there was some good stuff, there was a lot of bad stuff, there were some great updates, there were some bad updates. Most of the updates, though, I think were all pretty well received. Though I really can't think of an updated character that, for the most part, Clawful looked great. His voice was terrible. Whiplash looked great. His demeanor was, moronic. Beastman, that was. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of pros and cons to it, but I think overall the show is still well beloved. There's some fans who just swear by that style, and that's it. But overall, I think the show is pretty well beloved. I mean, me and Joe have talked about it like several times, and we still take Filmation over this one in terms of like mainly because of the stories. I found the stories to be a lot better. The action, of course, is very, very limited, as we all know. But if you got a better story, I'll take that over the action. So we got good sword fights in NYP. We got, in this episode, Evil Seed is updated, which it's probably fitting that Joe's not here because Joe throws temper tantrums about that and denounces anybody who likes the new version and secretly just talks about
why back. Why is that? What is there that he dislikes so much about the new design?
His logic just never made any sense to me. Like, honestly, I can't think of an updated character other than how they're portrayed or they're voiced. Visually, everybody looked great. Evil Seed looked like an absolute badass in this episode because I was thrown off when we first see him. He kind of looks like a big, bulky version of Mossman. I'm like, oh god, this is lame. And then he bursts out of it, and then you see like the real version. And I don't know, Joe's. I think he said it was too anime inspired, or.
Well, I mean, I kind of got those vibes just from NYP anyway, with how the action moved. Yeah. That it took inspiration from that style, which I don't have a problem with. That never bothered me.
They kept it in check. I mean, some of it got a little too damn out of control, like with the weapons twirling and action shots of King Render doing a backflip with the anime like lines going. Oh wow, how intense! He's doing a backflip, man.
Well, think about it too, like the time period. The early 2000s. First thing,
Dragon Ball Z and stuff.
Well, not only that, but look at live action film. We go from like the Matrix fights to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon made like a huge splash. So the style was kind of.
It doesn't mean we had to like it, and I didn't like it.
I didn't. It doesn't bother me. I think it's fine. Now, I will say this: the sword sucks. I don't like the design of that sword, and the transformation sequence itself just kind of.
It's not as epic as the second one.
Yeah,
and then you had the snake armor one, but the second one where you actually see Adam's body grow, like big, and then the harness like snaps onto him. Like that's the best transformation. And I thought about us doing maybe the Last Stand commentary because that's just a balls to all action episode. But I figured Orko's Garden was just a good episode because I like Evil Seed. I love Mossman. So I thought it would be like we originally were going to do the New Adventures of He-Man episode, A Crack in the World, but as I was rewatching, I'm like, oh my god, I can't make Nathan sit through this episode's packed with the scientists.
I mean, it wouldn't have bothered me.
Dude,
My headset of just suggesting it was like, let's show New Adventures some love.
Which I like to do that on a regular basis if possible, but the cartoon is just getting harder and harder for me to sell because I'm like, God, it's hard for me to even sit through some of those episodes, and it's just I felt like this had been really cool to ask Nathan to voluntarily watch this episode where they are featured so prominently. And I'd forgotten all about that. All I can remember was the fight of over the lava pit with He-Man and Skeletor, which looks visually pretty cool. But other than that, it's like, oh god, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Like, if you were really looking forward to that, I apologize for that. That's my call. But I just felt like it just wasn't going to be fair to Nathan because Nathan's
dude. Like I said, it wouldn't have bothered me in the slightest. Really, it wouldn't have. Like, if you're sitting there and thinking it's not that good, but we did it anyway. Like, wow, it wouldn't have bothered me.
Oh, it just wasn't that entertaining. Like I said, the bulk of it's just. I really thought we'd been better off
that bad,
the first episode, and just let Nathan rewatch that for the first time or something like that. I really just like preaching the mythology of New Adventures and the characters that are involved, the story that's being told, and that's what I really want to push. I can't defend the cartoon anymore. It's just that. It has its moments, but overall, I just want people to be aware that the New Adventures idea is really, really worth looking into. And don't let the cartoon throw you askew. Look at the story. Look at the mythology, the characters that are involved, the mutants,
and buy the classics figures because most of those guys are still pretty cheap.
Yeah. I mean, it's just disheartening to feel like you can get. I mean, I'm glad you were able to pick up Karate and Slushhead. Did you get Optic also?
Nope. Okay. Actually, I haven't even gotten Slushhead yet.
Oh, that's right. You just got.
You're getting ahead of yourself. But no, Slushhead's one I need to get because that is one of the few. When I say the few, I mean two. Because I got a 2-pack of He-Man and
Slushhead. Yep. Yeah. So I got the 2-pack of He-Man and Skeletor.
Yeah, those were the only New Adventures figures I owned. But I had them all complete, pristine condition, and I gifted those to you for
Christmas. Yeah, sure did. I still have it.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm probably not like these will never have a prominent spot on any shelf that I have. I'm like, here, you take them. I remember your face though. You're just like, oh my god, are you sure, man? He's complete. He's got like his helmet and his power sword and everything. I was like, yeah, like I take care of my toys. I thought you knew this already. I thought you knew me.
Yeah, but it was just just wasn't expected. It was a Christmas miracle, Yeah. Wasn't too often I'm going to get something He-Man related for Christmas, because my family sure as hell wasn't going to do it. So, if I get something He-Man related, it was from somebody other than my family. So, it was pretty exciting that year. But, I mean, that's the kind of stuff I really want to push about New Adventures too. I just kind of feel like it's just such a hard sell. I kind of feel like I didn't feel that way about when I revisited the show when I finally got it on DVD, even though some of the episodes were not that good. And like I said, when me and Joe did the I forgot what episode it was. It was the big like 4 or 5 part story arc for the battle for Leviton. And Joe was like, "Why the hell did Tyler pick this episode?" And it's just like I was trying to show an example that there's continuity in this show. And that the bad guys win for a while, but like this is just not working. That's kind of feel like if Joe felt that way, like Nathan's gonna be like, dude, what the hell, man? So
not necessarily. When it comes to this stuff, especially being compared to not only you and Joe, but most of the people that we have that listen to us on a weekly basis, especially in the live chat, like when it comes to the knowledge of the property, I am definitely many notches below anybody else. So, if you want to show me New Adventures, we'll sit and we'll watch it. I can give an honest opinion of it. If I didn't like it, then I didn't.
Well, my purpose of even being on this podcast is to raise awareness for all the good stuff, because I feel like people just have a very narrow-minded way of thinking that it stops and it begins with He-Man, Skeletor and ends with Trapjaw and Man-at-Arms. And that's about it. For like so many fans, I'm like, okay, if that's it, but I just want to like, there's so much more. You shouldn't just limit yourself to this stuff. That goes for She-Ra, NYP, New Adventures, the live-action film, the mythology in the comics, the Star comics, the MVC Creations comics, all that stuff. So
she's in there no, she's in there making. I think she's gonna make more cookies. It like catches it sometime on here, like her like rustling around in the cabinet.
Okay, because I don't hear any of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on in there?
And you open up the door when you get done. Joe's in there like talking to her. That was really good.
Yeah, I'm like, how did he get here? Oh, he just heard the beck and call of free food.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm kind of hoping Joe will maybe pop in the chat. I know he said he was just going to take this weekend to just relax and chill. And I know he watched me stream some video games last night, but I was kind of surprised he didn't pop in the chat for the stuff earlier today.
Oh, we know how demanding our job is. So we do know that, if this was our job, Joe would only work one day a week. So it is.
You know what? I do. I like it. It would be awesome if this was our job. Like if I could just do this and just roll in the cash and be like, this is great. I actually just finished watching a documentary on Netflix about, you've heard the Bill Murray stories, like just the random things where he'll pop up in someone's house party.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's pretty much a documentary just based off of these stories, interviewing these actual people. It's like, there was this band that was going to come play and they pull up with their equipment and Bill Murray's in the back seat and he's bringing in the amps and everything. And he's just hanging out. I feel like that's what I would do. If this took off and we're rich, I'm just going to find a way to make all this portable. I'm just going to go do stuff and just hang out and find people and just do things. That'd be fun.
It would be fun, but to feel like we'd be, God, can you imagine like the status that He-Man would have to be in for us to be paid to do this? And the same thing with Beyond Retro with capes and commentaries.
Well, hey, you never know. We're with the movie lingering. It may come out at some point, maybe. But I feel like a new version of the show. I think that we're getting to that point again, probably because it's been 16, 17 years since they went back to that. Maybe it's time to. Maybe the movie's the only thing, but I feel like an animated show might be around the corner. How weird would that be if it just like all of a sudden just popped up out of nowhere? Would you be excited about it just because it's back, or is it even if you don't see anything yet? If they're just like, hey, we're bringing this back, what would your initial impression be? Would it automatically just go to, oh no, like what are they gonna do? Or
it's their approach.
Their approach. All right.
Their approach. So, if your approach is to make it dumb, period, like that to make it silly and not take it seriously and just tell like these goofy ass stories and make Skeletor like steals the show because he's so goofy and funny and wacky and out there, shit like that, then no. Then I just like don't bother. I just it's not an issue of me being the grump and saying it was better back in my day. I'm just tired of. Todd McFarlane said this not too long ago because he was, I don't have much faith in the new Spawn movie, but I was glad to know that somebody else felt the same way. They're like, I'm just like sick and tired of like Marvel movies being nothing but just silly movies that they're not taking the content seriously. He said that's what I want my new Spawn movie to be. It's like the opposite of everything that they're seeing in those movies today. They're not taking Spider-Man seriously. They're not taking Captain America seriously. Everything is done to be silly and just there's no stakes because jokes are being thrown all around. And even though he was trying to compare his version of Spawn to like The Nun and something else reputable and like something that I thought was reputable, but it just kind of felt like, okay, at least there's someone out there that gets it. And I feel like that's the consensus in pop culture entertainment now is everything's done for laughs now. Like serious stuff. If it's on Netflix, you have stuff like that. And not to say everything, but I think something like this.
Hey, the new She-Ra's on Netflix.
Yeah, and it really set the world on fire, didn't it? Here, people?
No, it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. They drummed up all this stuff about it, and then it comes out, and it's just like
there's part in the wind.
No one cares.
Yeah,
and that's where we stand with that. But they need to. Honestly, I feel at this point in time, if we're going to start bringing this stuff back, they really need to find a way to put it in capable hands of the people that know it. You know, if they were to come to you and Joe and it's like, hey, we want you guys to be consultants, maybe even kind of help come up with stories, it would be perfect. I don't know what's going on, but it would be. Well, I don't understand and I know it's making money and doing what you can, and it's the whole thing of people that like there's job postings like, oh well, you have to have a degree to do this, and it's like, well, if someone knows how to do it, oh, but you don't have the degree. I feel like that's how TV seems to work. It's like, oh well, you're not, you don't have a degree in writing, and you've never had any experience, but you have the knowledge.
Yeah.
Of the property, so it would be treated right, but that gets passed over. I don't understand that way of thinking.
I feel like James Z Talk and a couple of other names, because of their credentials in the community, like James Z Talk is known as, like, you know, I always call him like Reverend E Talk because he's like the minister of truth when it comes to He-Man. He's known for having the vast knowledge of the cartoon Bible and various other inside facts and trivia and stuff. So he is looked at. Same thing with Val Staples. And a few other people, and Danielle, I mean, they're just kind of go-to names because they've kind of dug into the a lot of like projects, and they're just well versed in the knowledge and stuff like that, and they just have managed to get their names out there, and they've been acknowledged a lot. But unfortunately, I kind of felt like with the She-Ra show, like they talked to James about it, but I don't think it was what he thought it was supposed to be.
Right.
I think he thought it was going to be telling a good story, and then when actually gets up and running, like, this is not what I envisioned you guys were trying to sell me.
And that's what I'm going back to is if this ever comes to pass again, they need to go to those guys and you and Joe and come up with that creative collective that you guys can sit here and just like, yes, these are the stories that need to be told. Here's what I would like to see, but it's actually coming from people that actually love it and not just some hollow person. It's like, yeah, it's a paycheck, you know, like,
yeah.
I don't understand that way of thinking. I never had.
I have, and I don't say this, you know, to be like goofy or doing this for, you know, entertaining, like pompous value. Like I genuinely feel like if I was ever given that opportunity for someone who listened to this podcast or someone who talked to Val or James or whatever, and that my name was thrown into that hat, I know for fact I could really put out ideas or stories that I think casual fans and hardcore fans would really, really be able to get. I'm like, okay, we can get behind this here, people. Like I don't say this stuff just to be outlandish. Like I've spent so much of my free time in my teens and my 20. Well, hell, I never stopped, to be honest. Who am I kidding? Of coming up with ideas and thoughts of like what would make a great He-Man story, what I would want to see, what I have yet to see, what I want to see more of. All it was just like constantly, along with like Thundercats and G.I. Joe and various other things, like what I would like to see and stuff like that. And you know, I could do a good She-Ra story too, and it wouldn't be just, you know, we got to make it cool and make her just a strong female for the sake of saying it's a strong female. No, just make her a kick-ass character. You don't pander and make it sound like, look what I'm doing here, people. I'm speaking for the women here. I'm feminist all the way. Like, no, that's not the point. That's not the point of She-Ra and why she was created. That's just.
Yeah, I hate to even go back to this again, but it does remind me of that Ghostbusters film, and where you know, we got the teaser for Ghostbusters 3, right? And Leslie Jones was mad about it, like saying that they're being forgotten about and all this, and trying to make it about something more than what it was. And the whole thing was it was never an issue of it's women Ghostbusters. That was never the thing. It was the quality of the product that was being put out wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Well, it's like shit.
Yeah, and
it was.
Yeah. So I don't know. My main point going back to this is I hope that if it ever does come to pass, that whoever's wanting to do this again and is greenlighting it, they need to come to James and Danielle and Val and you and Joe and whoever to actually put it in a spot where these are people that know this. It's not just some random person. I feel like when you put it, the passion would show, you know, it would just burst through the screen.
Yeah, and you need people who know. And I've never understood that why. Yeah, they may bring on people as consultants, but they don't really utilize their advice or thoughts or suggestions to it. It's like, well, you know what? That's nice. It's almost like it's just covering their ass for trying to make it look like we're trying to do something that's going to appease people with no real intention of actually following through with it. You know, but I would really like to think. I mean, Mattel doesn't have too many creative ideas in terms of like original product. You know, they license out a lot of stuff like they're currently doing WWE wrestling. I think they're going to look. I think the license for DC is not going to be staying with them much longer. I think another toy
that's already gone on to someone else. But I also know that like Star Wars, their deal is kind of ending soon, and I would imagine Mattel would probably try to make a play on that. But at the same time, too, I feel like Star Wars figures just aren't selling like they used to because,
well, given the lackluster of Star Wars entertainment right now, it's just not. I think no one can deny it's not living up to what it should be. So that's hurting. I'm quite sure. But I just feel like it's not. It shouldn't be like looked down upon. If you can't come up with something new, go back to things that have made. I mean, well, hell, if they gotten away with using Barbie and Hot Wheels all these years, why can't they go back and try He-Man again? As if like everybody there is still fixated on 2000X. It's all going to happen again.
I think it's time. I do. And when it comes to the movie, man, like I think I said this before somewhere in some comment on Facebook. I just want the movie to come out just so it's done and it's over with. I feel like either way, people are going to be disappointed with it. Someone's not going to be happy with it, but
I think the vast majority are not going to be happy with a few people in there who wanted to denounce everybody for hating it as much.
Yeah. Internet
culture could be good.
Internet culture is weird like that.
It is, and yet
even if it is good and mostly universally loved, there's going to be those handful of people that are still going to shit on it and cause like trouble, and people will start fighting one another, and then it's just like, what's the point of that? If either like it or you don't, like, just whatever.
I just don't feel the urge to go out of my way to let everyone know how much I hated Ghost Rider. Like, if it's brought up in conversation, that's fine, but I'm not going to go to social media and. By God, the world needs to know what I think. I did do that for Last Jedi because Nathan suggested you should do it, man. You should go out and just tell them that you thought it sucked. So
it wasn't a good movie.
It was a terrible film.
The two things that I want to bring up from the chat. Fedmon says the 87 movie is free to view on YouTube with ads, but it's on there and it's free.
Yeah, there's a couple of I've seen. There's another version too that's like broken up into like 10 parts too. That's available to watch on YouTube for free.
And then, kind of tying into what we were kind of just talking about. Let's see. Stagnatar says, "What stories would Tyler tell given the opportunity? Well, what would be? Yeah, well, what are some of the highlights? What are the main things that, like, if you were given the reins, you've thought about it for so long, you're like, this is the one thing, top of the list. This is what I want to do." Without a doubt. What would be the main thing that you would push for, story-wise?
I would really like to build up like a really good and highly anticipated feud between He-Man and Skeletor. I mean, to the point where you are constantly prolonging the big sword fight of those two at Castle Grayskull to the point, and give us the sword fight that we should have gotten in the live-action 87 movie. This long sword fight where it's just you got bombastic music playing. They start off on the drawbridge. He-Man's trying to keep them from getting in there. They make it into the Castle Grayskull. They're fighting all over the place, destroying the place, making all the way to the top of the castle. I mean, just something like that. I would want to utilize Clamp Champ and Lizard Man and Cyclone and Mossman a lot more. I would really want to change up Teela's persona. I would start her out with what people know her to be, like the whiny bitch, and that who feels like she deserves the right to be captain of the guard. And I would have her be given the reins. All right, fine. You want to do this? You're so eager to get this? Fine. I'm going to turn it over to you. And someone loses a life at her brash way of thinking, which humbles her and makes her bite her tongue. I would start out like just constantly on Adam's ass, like play up what people know, but make it serve a purpose and not just he's a one-trick pony. Write her as the obnoxious female love interest, supposedly. No, make it legitimate. Make it feel like she's on his ass because she feels like Adam doesn't try. I want it. So I'm going to belittle him and embarrass him because he's not even trying. I want it so bad when she's not even thinking about what she's doing. Make her learn. And I would also have her do that as a sorceress as well. Like I would love to explore, much later on, the idea of Adam and Teela getting married, but they'd have to do it in secret. Like that's something I would, that's like everyone ignores that. It's always about King He-Man. Like you guys haven't thought any of this stuff through, but I would want to do more Granamere stories. I would want to do, more tag team episodes of Buzz Off and Cobra Khan as being like the sole villains of an episode or a story. I would want to bring in the Snake Men and the Horde and the Evil Warriors all in Eternity at the same time. Build up to that, and then have all three of them duking out, and the Heroic Warriors are caught in the middle of it. This is all just spitballing stuff. Like I would want to bring in the movie characters. I would want to utilize the Cosmic Key as a plausible device later on. I mean, just so much stuff. I really wouldn't focus too much on origin stuff. I mean, I just kind of feel like I think a lot of characters, they don't need an origin. I would rather not know how they got the way. I don't mind explaining maybe where they came from, but honestly, like
you kind of want to have the approach like we did The Fly. We did a commentary for The Fly today, and it's just boom, you're in it. You're right in the middle. Like you start the movie at the middle of a conversation, and you're picking up from there. You would want to take that approach. Just sort of skip all the origin stuff. It's like boom, boom, here we go, we're going.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I really don't think we need to see, maybe as like a throwback episode, how Adam became He-Man and how he was, how it was brought to his attention and everything like that. But other than that, I would rather start out that this feud between He-Man and Skeletor has been going on for a while.
Or would you like just do that in the intro? Would that be would that be a better way?
I mean, kind of like with Filmation, where they kind of introduce the concept in introduction. Yeah, I think that'd be a great way to do that, and maybe as like a fan, like a love letter to the fans, like season 2 or 3, like just randomly thrown in how Adam became He-Man, and leave it at that, and maybe throw in, I would like a one-shot villain for that episode, like bring in Negator as like the first guy Adam took on as He-Man, just as a fun nod to fans. I would want to bring back Shakoti and Mask. I would want to explore a little bit more of that. I mean, it's just so much stuff that could be done, and for it to just be Trapjaw, Beastman, Skeletor, Evil and Beastman, over and over and over again. Like, no, that's mix it up, people. I mean, you got this whole legion of villains just on this one shelf alone, let alone the Horde and all these other characters too. So, I could go on and on and on about this stuff, and I don't want to waste people's listen time about this stuff.
I wanted to toss that out there. That was a good question I asked to tie it in with what we had been talking about, and it shows you exude your passion when you're talking about this is what I would like to do.
Yeah,
and hopefully,
and the tone would be serious. It would be continuously serious, not all broody, moody like Christopher Nolan Dark Knight Rises bullshit. I mean, but, where the content is taken seriously. You're going to feel bad for Adam in these situations. You're going to be excited when he kicks Clawful's ass. You're going to get pumped up when, Ninjor confronts Clampchamp for the first time. You're going to be excited when you see She-Ra show up finally. It would be constant moments of goosebumps. That's what I want fans to get from this. I want fans to have goosebumps and excitement, and they go back and replay it on YouTube again. Or they go back on Netflix and watch it again. Or they're talking about it on social media, like, wasn't this awesome? Or you throw out this nod to Pre-Eternia, like, do you think we'll see the dinosaurs? Like, get people talking all the time, and just people, who are not as well versed, to make them feel like they could jump right in here because they think it's cool. It's to see all these big muscular heroes and villains beating the shit out of each other, but telling a good story in the middle too. I want people to sympathize with Adam and He-Man. I don't want it to be just strictly, he's a cool guy. It's like I want people to be invested in him, and they're not going to feel sorry for Skeletor. None of that gray bad guy bullshit. No. Skeletor will be like he is in the movie, not redeemable. He's a prick and loves what he does, and there will be no explanation for it either. People, no, like, well, I was Adam's half brother. I deserve the throne, buddy. Like, none of that, cowboy bullshit. No. It would be strictly, black arts magic. This guy turned on Hordak and went out on his own, started up his own faction, and has the ambition of conquering, the Royal Palace and ultimately Castle Grayskull as well. No explanation, just because he's a prick, man.
And there you have it. I got all that out of him. That was good stuff. I've been reading the chat too while you've been talking, and I know there's been some other people that popped in. So hello to Zen Brown, JSP, Grim 2. I can't remember if I got him when he popped in. What was it? Stagnatar, our own Joe Amato is in the chat room.
Is that a recovery?
Yeah, he's out of recovery.
Joe, you still got your catheter in?
Yeah, they're already making the jokes.
Take that home with you, you pervert.
So there that is. So I guess with all this out of the way, shall we watch Orko's Garden?
Let's do it.
All right. Link is down below, so you guys feel free to click on that and watch along with us. Let me see where I'm at here. I meant to make this its own separate window so I could still look at the chat, but yeah, whatever. We'll roll with it. I can flip back and forth if I have to.
All right.
All right. On your go, sir. You just give me the cue.
3, 2, 1, action.
What were your thoughts on this intro?
I remember when some people were pissed off about it, like, oh, they're shitting all over Filmation. I'm like, no, I think it's just a fun nod, and that's it. I mean, it was just like a constant back and forth because we didn't actually see it till The Courage of Adam came out. Like when they played the beginning, the 3-parter as a movie, there was no intro; it just started. So some people were up in arms about this, and I thought, God, you guys just need to chill the hell out. Now, that was back when all you had were just forums, so I didn't participate in that nonsense. So I thought it was fine.
As we go along here, I want you to kind of give me your thoughts on voice acting. So, like Prince Adam, everybody that's here at this table, Duncan, Man at Arms.
Gary Chalk does an all right job as
Yeah.
Man at Arms. He's the stoic man. I just blame how he's written in some of his dialogue at times. I feel like he's just not likable. He just a lot of times he's got a stick up his ass.
And how do you feel about the ponytail?
Ponytail's fine. I don't consider like all hipster like like man bun tail and all that the current stuff that's going on. So I look at it as it's just to change it up a little bit. It looks fine. Buzz Off is great. I loved his voice. I didn't like Rain Man. It's like they were trying too hard to make him sound really dumb. Tila looks hot, but she's just played for what she does best, being the bitch. And I like Cam Clark's He-Man more than I do as Adam. And at times I kind of find Adam to be slightly whiny at times.
Right.
And plus I feel like the portrayal of Adam, like his behavior right now, like kind of being carefree and just doesn't really care about anything. Like right now should be the time where these two, his two confidants, Man at Arms and Orko, they're aware of what's going on. So I kind of feel like that's when he breaks character and actually talks to them. Okay, look, we understand Skeletor's been in this area here. I'm going to venture out with Battle Cat, and we're going to go check this out. Like, you don't see a whole lot of that. There's hints of it at times. But it's just kind of like Prince Adam is kind of portrayed to be the schlub because he really wants to be the schlub until he's like, oh, I guess I better go turn into He-Man. I kind of feel like that's not what Prince Adam is. He pretends to be, but in his heart, he really is. Filmation got that right. But in Orko's, it's all right. I just, when you got people saying, "Oh, he sounds like Steve Urkel," and stuff like that too, I'm like, oh God, don't.
I don't get that vibe. Really?
No, I mean, not really. And plus, Stratus does sound like Sean Connery, but I feel like it makes people feel like they're entitled to make jokes all the time instead of like, okay, yes, there is a similarity. Can we move on? Do you guys have to stop and make all these like lame ass jokes? Like, let's just enjoy the show here. So, and this has a Filmation feel to like Orko being given the duty of taking care of the garden because it's a meaningless job right now.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe while watching this episode. It does seem a bit like a throwback to Filmation storytelling.
Yeah. I mean, because I could see this being told in Filmation easily. And it's a shame to hear the Evil Sea wasn't brought back in Filmation because this would have been a fun way to bring him back and to introduce Moss Man. But obviously this is set up quite well to bring those two in, so I can't argue with that.
What are your thoughts, I guess, kind of on like the coloring, because a lot of it throughout the run seems a little like just murky.
Yeah, there are some a lot of
Like
browns.
there are some bright characters along the way, but for the most part, it's a very just subdued. It doesn't seem as like vibrant at all.
And I honestly don't feel like it's absolutely necessary because I feel like if you really brighten it up, I almost feel like that's like a sign of like the tone of the show too. And
Right.
I think I mean their attempt is to tell a serious He-Man show, and sometimes it falls flat. But I think overall, like maintaining that color scheme, at least presents itself as like we're trying to have some maturity to it. Like right here, I mean, like the greenery looks very lush, very pretty. Um, but I mean, like even the villains too, like their color schemes are toned down a bit. Like Too Bad is darker tones of blue and purple. Beastman's darker tones of orange and brown. Trapjaw is darker tones. Um,
My dad actually found my NYP figures in the storage, and like he set them out upstairs, and I was like going through them, and I honestly don't remember the figures being so kind of slim. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they seem definitely shorter, but just I felt like they were bulkier than they are. It was weird.
At the time, I remember thinking they were quite bulky, and I thought the updated look it was still in tone. But you look back at those vintage figures, man. I mean they're definitely beefier than MYP.
And when I heard Evil Seed's voice, I was like, man, that sounds really familiar. Has this guy done other? Oh, obviously, he probably has done other work. But is there any other notable things that he's done?
Honestly, I never followed up on which voice actor on the show had done Evil Seed's voice. I just this was one show that other than like Gary Chalk, Cam Clark, Brian Dobson, I really just didn't dig deep into wanting to know more about the behind the scenes because I just as much as I did enjoy it and regardless of the problems I had, I just wasn't engrossed enough to really dig into the behind the scenes stuff on this show. Um, and a lot of times it's kind of like that with more current stuff. Like I kind of find that stuff that's a lot older, I'm more intrigued to learn about the behind the scenes.
Right.
And this was just not one of those. I'm like, I enjoy it, but just I'm not as interested in what went on behind the scenes as I would be with Filmation.
Now, is there a part in this episode that like, do you ever get sort of tired of the Orko kind of messed up again? Like, does that ever?
I've always gotten tired of that, and
Yeah.
that would be something I would like completely cut out if I was given like any kind of like duty to write an episode. Like I would never ever write Orko as someone who's just an idiot. I don't like that. He's a lovable character, a very likable character. It all comes down to writing, and that's what it really does. It's no different than comic books. If you want to have Spider-Man beat the hell out of the Hulk, you can do that. Even if people would argue that wouldn't happen. Well, if I write it, it can. And which he has, but with this, yeah, I would not write Orko as just like, oh look, he's at it again here, people. No, I would make him Adam's best friend. Aside from Man at Arms, like, whereas Man at Arms is the more stoic, wiser buddy to Adam, Orko would be like someone he can relate to on the same age level, so to speak. That they grew up together. And that they could really talk to each other is like you and I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that would be a better way to go because in a lot of the episodes that I have watched, especially for the commentaries that we do, there has been a repeat of like, oh, well, Orko's at it again. He screwed something up. And it's just like, I think there's a better way to take that character. I feel like Orko has more to offer than just.
And he does. And we've discussed that various times, me and Joe both, where we've done commentary for Dawn and Dragoon and various other topics. And it's just people are just not taking time to write a character like that frequently the way he should be. And here's the epic real boom. Very badass. I was so pumped when I saw that when he burst out of the big fluffy outfit. I thought, all right, now I can get behind this.
So at first you did have like you were disappointed.
And I was like, I don't know about this. But that made me feel pumped, and because I wasn't concerned about Moss Man. I felt confident about when he shows up, and I like that. It's a fun reveal for him here. You know, the Orko thought he met him, but no, you met Evil Seed, which leads up to this.
Are you a fan of the MYP design for Moss Man?
Yeah, I loved it. You know, my brother used to pick on me because he was country and because I love Moss Man. He used to, make fun of Moss Man's accent, which I'm like, it works for the character. I don't see it as like, it doesn't come off like super Southern. It's just, it's a bit of a Southern.
He's kind of got like I guess like a sort of a cowboy way about him.
Yeah, and I like that, and I thought his visual design was great. It's unfortunate he didn't appear that much in the show, which is a waste. He
was just kind of mostly like background filler, right?
He showed up in this, and he was in the Council of the Last Stand, he was also in season 2. Oh God, well the Snake Men are there, and Mossman shows up to free Fisto. Manny faces and Adam. And there's like the hint that Cobra Khan or Squeeze is going to try and eat him too. I forgot the name of the episode too. It's Awaken the Serpent, I think, or possibly. But he didn't get as many appearances as I would have preferred. And I love Mossman. If I was right, you can bet I wouldn't want to overuse Mossman because I feel like that's what kills Man at Arms and some of the other. They're overused too damn much, and I would never want to do that with Mossman. That's a cool introduction for Evil Seed. I like the whipped vine hairdo. It just badass. Joe, I'm sorry you're not here, so I can say whatever I want here. This is one badass version of Evil Seed. Filmation is top dog to A+++ all around for that one, but you cannot deny that this is one badass version, dude. Oh, let me ask you then. You're watching this for the first time in all these years. What is your take on Mossman and Evil Seed?
Mossman, I've always just enjoyed the look of anyway because I've always enjoyed Swamp Thing, and I always got just parallels between those two guys. But seeing this is I guess to a certain extent, I guess maybe I could see why Joe would take umbrage with it, just because the face design might be a little too like, I don't know, different. Yeah, when I look at him, I kind of get like, he kind of looks like Pyro from the X-Men Arcade in a way. With
which I love Pyro X-Men Arcade.
But I think it's fine. Like that's, I mean, how else could you really do him? What else would you do, really? Like what changes? Did you bother to ask Joe like what changes to make? I really like this part here with Mossman showing up and just sort of like, coming out like that and then standing there.
I mean, this is like a no-brainer feud to be set up to, and this is something that should have been carried on a hell of a lot more. But no, I really didn't ask Joe. I just kind of just accepted it, trying to be like, okay, what difference has been in here? You're wrong, I'm right, and just kind of leave it at that.
Where's the bucket?
Yeah, but with Joe's passion for Filmation, like I fell in love with the Filmation version when I first saw the episode Evil Seed. So I'm like, I'm not going to argue with him about it.
And Evil Seed never got a figure, right? In the vintage line?
Not in the vintage line. He did in classics, though.
Okay.
Both versions. Which it's I mean, if we get a vintage style, it would have to be the Filmation one. I don't know if I would really want to see 2000X because I just kind of feel like that belongs in 2000X. And these T-Rex plant like T-Rexes are pretty badass.
Man, Evil Seed's actually not that expensive. How about that?
How much is he?
Well, if you get the Filmation version, I see some here for $35. The version that we have here, roughly $25 to $40, depending.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I'm genuinely surprised.
Yeah, it's a wonderful. I mean, they're both kick-ass figures. And I will say, I would like to have a 2000X style classics version of Mossman. Even though they kind of gave us like a variation of that with like the different head, like full sculpt. That's a justifiable variant Super 7. Okay. Not repainting Adam again.
I know
with a Christmas cane.
Yeah. But at the same time, I get it for the people that are wanting like complete Filmation classics, what have you. You know, if they're more accurate to the show. I get it. I get it. But for, you know, someone or some collectors that have the vast majority of them, you're like, all right, this is not enough of a difference to warrant me wanting to spend the extra money for
No,
this.
and I'm not going to.
I'm gonna say here at the tail, I really enjoy the action scenes.
Oh, they are good. I mean, the
In
vast
this.
majority of the action sequences are pretty well choreographed. I mean, they you know, sometimes they get a little ridiculous, like making everybody as strong as He-Man, essentially, which I have real problems with. You know, because you like to feel like, you know, He-Man's strength should be special. It should be, you know, no one else should be able to do what he does. And there's times where you feel like, man, everybody can do what He-Man does. But you know, being able to, you know, see the sword used more prominently, sword fights being used a lot too. So it's I mean, action is very beautifully done. I feel like Cringer's wasted a lot too in this show. Like I know some people, they argue about whether or not here's the transformation sequence here. What is it about the sword that you don't like?
It's just there's just too much going on with it. I
Just
don't
where
know.
is it? It's not like the what's Filmation sword is by far the best.
Yeah. But because it has a very simplistic design. It's sleek.
Yeah.
This just seems like there's just too much.
At least there was. I mean, like, you know, I didn't know if you knew this or not, and I know a lot of 2000X fans know this, but that sword was designed to be the fill-in sword for He-Man, because Skeletor had the two halves of the power sword, and the story like the Horsemen had come up with, that the heroic warriors are on the run, so Man-at-Arms comes up with this new sword to kind of fill the gap until they can get the two halves of the power sword back.
I mean, that makes sense in that regard,
Yeah.
but
But Mattel liked it so much, they decided,
yeah.
we want that to be the power sword. Like, okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm in agreement. Like, I mean, it works all right for the show, but it's not. It doesn't get me pumped, you know, like the way the Filmation sword and the live action movie sword does. Like, it's not. It's but and hell, the new Adventures of He-Man sword's badass, and it's simple too.
Goes
Especially
back to
because
the old ad, the thing that we've been saying so much of the past few weeks. Less is more.
less is definitely more. Because some people don't know when to quit. If you give them like the free range of the air, throw in as much as you want. They don't know when to stop.
And I'm still not really a fan of the design of Castle Grayskull in this show. It just seemed too. It
Flat.
seemed.
It's very
Yeah, it was
flat.
flat. Yeah, there wasn't a lot going on with it. It looked like
No.
when you look at that, it doesn't seem like it has a presence and an aura and, you know, a living, breathing like force to it, like you get from Filmation. It's just kind of flat, like you said.
Yeah, I just kind of felt like their overall, like, I'm sure some people are thinking, well, it's just a castle with a big skull on it. What's the big deal? Like, did you really look at Filmation's design of that? Like, I know for them, they're designing it for a show is like it's a job, but it resonated with us so much more because of the visual design. The way it was, various shots of Castle Grayskull made it look that much more imposing. You know, there's nothing threatening about this Castle Grayskull at all. And I don't really don't care for Snake Mountain that much either. Like I love the menace of Filmation Snake Mountain, whereas this, like, I don't care if it's got lava coming out of its mouth. It doesn't make it more menacing to me. You know, the colors were a lot more darker in Filmation. I felt like they had more malice to them for both of them. I like this little hand trick that Mossman's going to pull here.
Oh yeah, where he kind of just converts,
Grows the blades out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty badass. And this action sequence with like this Hydra made out of weeds is a very cool idea.
It's cool, and I like the fact that when they chop them all down, and then two more grow in its place.
Yeah, classic Hydra mythology here.
And I feel like that's what the show needs more of too. We need to kind of show those elements of having hydras, and it's just more of a barbarian sort of feel.
Yeah, technology should be there as a kind of to help move the story along. Like they use a Wind Raider, the attack track. There we are. And you know, and keep the focus on your villains being more mythological. I mean, we're throwing in like your Negator, and and characters like Hordak who practice black arts but become fixated on technology and what it could bring. But use technology as minimal as possible. It should be like they're after a device that can intensify flux capacitors or something. Just making up stuff here. Going back to the future reference.
Intensifies flux capacitors.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just making up technology. I'm just by throwing it back to the future here. But I'm saying, using fantasy elements to get to that. Because I'm always going to be more for fantasy elements anyway. Period. Like I love the sci-fi elements of He-Man, but the fantasy to me should outweigh that tenfold. I mean, most of this episode we're watching right now was all fantasy based. I mean, we're seeing very, very little technology used in this episode. It's pretty much just based on mythological creatures, heroes, and villains here, and that's it. And that's the way it should be, for the most part. I mean, mix it up, of course. You don't want people to get tired of a good thing. And the battle is over here, people. Mossman looking all stoic.
And see that's a cool visual.
Yeah. And I like that, that for him to use like his power over plants to create, beautiful lush green can counteract the evil vines. Like it's like kind of like a throwback to his mini comic, The Stench of Evil. But and I like Mossman is such a yes, it's obviously very similar to Swamp Thing, but that works within the context of this universe here too. So that's why I hate when people want to belittle it or even say it's just copying certain stuff or that's been done before. I'm like, there's room for multitude of variations of the same character. It's like everyone's saying all they're doing is just copying Star Wars. We know Star Wars copied other stuff too, so quit giving all the credit to Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's what most of it is. The things you're going to take inspiration from other things that preceded it.
Exactly.
Like, that's just how it works.
Yeah, everyone can get different interpretations of it, and I'm just so sick and tired of everyone giving Star Wars credit for everything.
No, it's a really cool design. I like this design for Mossman.
Yeah, just a very, very, and this is the kind of portrayal I really want to. At a Filmation, we just didn't get that. We just got a very flat line interpretation of Mossman. Like visually, he was okay, but I mean, this by far, I'm like, this is where I would say the update was better than the Filmation design, even though it was more closer to the toy. But they gave him so much more to do in terms of like, this is what we would expect from Mossman. Someone who's very, very helpful, ready for action, and resides in the forest and stuff like that. But I also feel like he wouldn't be someone that you'd only come across. Okay, we're writing a story where He-Man has to go through the woods. So therefore, he'll encounter Mossman. Like I like to think of Mossman as someone who would be at the Royal Palace, hanging out with everybody. But also when he's not there, he is in the forest. He's in the swamps. He's in anywhere that there's, greenery all over the place.
And it's a nice touch here that they kept on like the moral stuff at the end. Like, oh, hey.
Yeah, and a lot of these morals, they were not included with the original run of the show. Like when these aired, like there was no moral. Like it just, ended. At least here in the States. I don't know if it was any different for Canada or anywhere else, but they had done all these morals and just didn't include them until DVD release. But that's our commentary for Orko's Garden. Did you was it a decent choice for you?
Yeah, no, it was fun. I liked it. I still throw that out there that, if we would have done the New Adventures episode, I would have been fine with that as well.
All right. I will make an effort that the next time we have another opportunity to do that, then I will I'll pick a New Adventures episode and hope to God the scientists are not used frequently in it. God.
Well, I guess with the commentary out of the way before we lead towards wrapping up, we're going to open it up to you guys. We're going to open up the floor you throw out some stuff you want us to discuss. You know, we would do the questions thing like we always do because you know, we've already been going close to an hour, so we're hitting that stride. We're hitting that mark.
Yeah. See, Joe, we know we could do it without you. I'm sure he's probably laughing like they won't be able to do it without me.
And when Tyler says that, I'm just sitting there like, maybe we should make the episode just a little bit shorter or something. I don't know. Because it's always me. I'm the one that worries about it more than these guys do.
Nah, that's why I really don't stress too much about what we talk about. Because if we, you give us the go, we can keep it going. But I just want people, to be entertained, and that the ones who listen to us each week or every so often, that if they pick this episode to listen to, they got some entertainment value out of it. I don't want people to like, man, that was a clunker episode, but I'm sure we probably have had some stinkers.
Well, I gotta figure out some more stuff to maybe just put for the title of this one. Maybe just be like Tyler's He-Man. I don't know, because we talked about your ideas for a new show. I need to find a way to just maybe work that into the title. But here we go. Sportimus says, what do you think of the 2000X Skeletor? What is your opinion overall?
I thought it was great. I liked him a lot. Brian Dobson did a good job playing up the menacing voice of Skeletor, like the way he should be. I think overall he was portrayed one of the best. I loved his visual design. I loved the sword. I loved that he's walking around barefoot, much like the cross-sell artwork of Skeletor on the vintage toy. I don't have a single negative thing to say about Skeletor. He didn't. There was a couple of dud episodes, but that's not a reflection of the character. I thought he was A plus all around for Skeletor.
All right,
by far.
I would agree with that. Just looking at him from the visual standpoint, I'm like, all right, yeah, they captured the essence of what Skeletor looks like, and to kind of go from there, I did get the vibe that they grounded him down. They made him like pretty mean. From what I remember, I need to go. Honestly, I need to just go back. I need to go back and just watch like everything. Like,
well, not all of them. There would be some. The one episode I did miss was I went to go stay the night at your house when the original run was on. I remember like.
I think I remember you being pissed about that.
No, because it was an episode concerning Teal. I'm like, this episode's gonna suck. So if I'm going to miss an episode on its original airing,
I'll come hang on. I'll come over and stay.
And I remember my brother taped it for me. He goes, "Yeah, it stunk." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I thought."
God, back in those days when we would have to just record all that stuff on VHS.
Yeah,
I
did it every Friday and Saturday. Me and my brother were front and center recording on Cartoon Network.
What 2000X characters do you wish made it to toy form?
Clamp Champ we got in stacks, and so that was close enough to it. Ninjor, Scareglow. From the original toy line, I'd have to go with those two. Extendor would have been badass. Soul Ride and Blade.
This all goes back to like it just bring it back. Give Tyler the book. Let him do it. Let him
I could do it. I could book a good season with a lot of good ideas. I can make Nathan a believer. I can make JoJo a believer. By God, I would bring the Meteorbs in. I would make that a 2-part episode. I would make and give them a prominent role. I'd make the Rock Warriors a prominent role. The Rock Warriors would have been great to see in MYP and the Meteorbs. There you go, wholeheartedly.
This question here, Sportimus also poses: would you want a classics 2000X He-Man Skeletor? Do them all. Those are redesigns that you put them in classics form. That would, I think that'd be all right.
We've kind of gotten the He-Man one already. Like you kind of had to. I mean, we were kind of given that to a certain extent. You kind of had to kind of put it together a little bit, where they had the head sculpt on the snake armor. They gave us the sword, and so you can kind of make your own version of it. But I mean, I'm not opposed to it because it's a different look and everything. It's not just the same damn figure with a slight variation to it, So yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
Grem2 asks, what do you think of the talking 2000X He-Man toy that was voiced by John Irwin?
I thought it was great. I was quite quite emphatic about that. I never did get the one with Cam Clark, and at that point I really just didn't care. So I was really glad to get that. I bought the gold version and the silver version, and I bought one to keep in box, one to take out of box. So I enjoyed that figure, and that should have been called Battle Armor He-Man, because that was very reminiscent of the Battle Armor vintage look. And I was like, well, Battle sounds fine, but that looks more like Battle Armor to me. But great figure.
And the guys now are kind of talking about the guy that voiced Evil Seed in this episode, trying to figure out and pinpoint what other stuff he did. I kind of honestly got like a Cobra Commander vibe from him.
Yeah, he does channel some Chris Latta for sure. Yeah.
Your favorite blockhead says Nathan do Vince. Evil Seed's got him by the throat.
He's gonna puke. Oh no, Evil Seed sat on his face. There you go.
Oh man! Is that what I'm supposed to just say now?
Yeah, say Evil Seed sat on his face.
Evil Seed sat on his face. He's got a puke. I'm glad that other people are starting to appreciate the Vince voice.
Yeah, that's a great quote too. Like if we do all this talk, if we were ever popular enough to warrant actually selling like merchandise, like a T-shirt that says "He sat on his face," like that. And
it's honestly just like the pixelated version of Andre from WrestleMania Challenge, like sitting on Beefcake. It has to be Beefcake.
Yeah,
because Beefcake.
And that's where we got it from, because we played that. I was over at Nathan's house and we played that, and he was doing commentary during, and I just sat in the floor laughing hysterically. He's like, "He sat on his face." Just.
Oh man, Zen Brown says I would have liked to have seen Karg on NYP.
Yeah, hell yeah. All the movie guys. I love to see Gwildor, Blade, Sorod, Karg, hell, even Lubick. Worked Lubick in as, like an attorney and advisor or royal guardsman, something like that, commander. That was a lot of stuff from the movie I would love to have seen incorporated in.
Blockhead says, Tyler, a different storyline for Blast Attack?
I would have made Blast Attack officially a member of the Snake Man, because I just not because that's how I was introduced to the character, but I feel like the Snake Man, to have something that's not an actual Snake Man in their ranks, like a suicide bomber, essentially, like a guy that goes into battle and is programmed that when he's either commanded to, or when he kind of realizes, hey, I'm at a tight situation, blows himself up. I feel like the Snake Men, they expect their followers to die in their service, almost kind of like Thulsa Doom. That's how it portrayed the Snake Men. It's much like how Thulsa Doom is in Conan the Barbarian. Blast Attack would be a robot that will blow itself up in service of King Hiss. So therefore, that would be. He feels like we should have some technology amongst our arsenal. We need a suicide bomber, like someone who would be willing to sacrifice himself over and over and over again for us to be advantageous. And they come up with Blast Attack.
Seriously, I hope someone listens to this. It's like, you know what? He's got some good ideas. Let's bring him on.
I know. I'd love to do it. I do it for free.
Hitchhikers. Well, pick them up.
Yeah, pick them up. Yeah. Just me and Nathan just ho-homing, just on our way to Mattel to give our pitch to He-Man. Yeah. Nathan's just there as being my yes man. Yep.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, we're just driving to Mattel headquarters in the shaggin' wagon.
Yeah.
Mock.
Yeah.
Ing.
Yeah.
Bird.
Yeah.
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 All right. Sportimus asks, have you read what was planned for 2000X Season 3, and what do you think of it if you did? Sorry, I kind of stumbled on that for a second.
That's all right. I read that. I thought it was an interesting idea to bring the Horde in and make the He-Man. The heroic warriors like renegades on the run.
The He-Man.
The He-Man. I like that idea. We'd gotten Clamp Champ because he was set for Season 3 and was supposed to fill in the role for Snake Man at Arms. Oh boy, I just never understood that dumbass idea of like, it's so tragic. He's a Snake Man and we're gonna bring him back though, but it's tragic because he's a Snake Man. Like, no, who gives a shit? It's a dumbass idea. But if a Brock Plant champion, so be it. But I thought the idea of kind of bringing in the Horde, permitting they don't do what they did with the Snake Men and make them a threat in the first 2 episodes. Okay, well, now we're back to normal now. They're no longer a threat. We're back in charge now. Like, the Horde would have to be in control for the vast majority of the season, though. But good idea.
They're like, hey, you should bring Emily in here and have her give her thoughts on things that were discussed. She'd just be like, what?
What's a He-Man?
No, she actually watched the episode with me. She's actually she's a fan of Orko, but she kind of makes fun of Orko at the same time.
What?
In the same regards of like, oh, there he goes, screwing everything up again.
Oh, you need to show her Filmation Orko. That's what you need to show her.
Let's see what else we got.
Come on, people, throw it at us here.
Yeah,
give us all you got here.
Blockhead is suggesting for the chat, how about like a Master of the Universe UFC, like take the Evil Horde, Snake Man, Skeletor, Sandman in a cage, but different weight classes. I feel a sneeze coming on. And let's see, like, how would you feel about that if you paired them off based off of weight?
I don't like UFC, but I mean, if that was the case, you'd have to put like Whiplash. I guess like Grizzlord would be a heavyweight. Too Bad would be a heavyweight. Whiplash, Beastman, Leech. Yeah, it's kind of something like that. Yeah.
See, I don't mind UFC. It's just and it's definitely sort of waned a bit in its popularity. Like it has. But the main turnoff for me is just its fan base.
Oh, that's a big sore spot for me.
Well, the main thing is they talk a lot of shit about how great UFC is, but at the same time too, they like to just shit all over pro wrestling all the time. And it's like, I get it. How many times you have to tell me that's fake? I've known this practically my
entire so is everything you see in the movies. But you know what? Yeah. You still find that entertaining. That's predetermined too. We all know who's going to win or lose at the end of this movie, don't we? Yeah. Why is wrestling worse? I will say it's worse based on how you book it. Same thing with the movie. You book a bad movie, like the bad ending, it sucks. Same thing with wrestling. It just they're delusional, you know.
2 more questions here. Sportimus says, "What are your thoughts on the fan-made Faker movie?"
I'm super pumped for it, and Deuce and James need to get it together so we can see the whole damn thing.
And
by the way, I better see a cameo by Lizardman somewhere in there. I don't care if you have to just do like in Fight Club when like Brad Pitt flashes like images of penises in films. Just flash an image of Lizardman somewhere in the film there. I don't care. Just
splice Filmation Lizardman. Just like a split second. Just let Tyler know that it's in there. That way he can watch it and think that he saw something, pause it, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Zentron says, "Well, what would you like to see of a new She-Ra show?" I feel like we may have touched on this before, but what would you have done with the new
I scrapped the whole damn thing and fired the whole cast there. Fired the cast crew.
No. I'm saying, like, what stories would you want to tell with She-Ra? You kind of touched on it earlier. We talked mostly about Masters, but if they're like, here, we can't give you He-Man, but you can do She-Ra. What would you do with She-Ra?
Oh God, I have a field day with She-Ra. I would really build up like her brainwashing and why she. Because, I mean, you want to build up, I'm not going to have her leave the Fright Zone. I'm going to have this girl spend her entire life in the Fright Zone, just like it's hinted at in Filmation. So that way, when she does venture out and about, she has a very skewed mindset as to, all these tax evaders, all these people that are, rebelling against us. Who the hell are they? And to have, a gradual process of her realizing, much like in Filmation, too. But that would be the focus of it. And it would be, really had to, and I did not watch the Netflix show, so I don't care what they attempted to do and failed at, or they attempted to do and you liked it or whatever. But I would really build up I would have Catra just be a complete bitch. I mean, and really like from day one wants the Force captain position. Doesn't care who she has to step on. She wants that title to be number 1 in command, and it's given to Adora because she was adopted by Hordak, stolen and naturally given it to her, which makes her just viciously hate Adora the way she ought to be, not best friends hinting around at lesbianism. That's not storytelling. It's just you guys being political bullshit. that doesn't help tell a story. It doesn't make you feel invested in these characters here. You need to build up a real reason why Catra despises Adora, and it'd be because she's been offered something that Adora didn't earn. Catra's out there busting her ass, knocking around farmers, collecting taxes, ordering horde troopers and Montana and Grizzlo around, getting things done. And Adora's in the front zone just training and just being taught the way of the world and not, having earned the right as force captain, so that when she does go out, it's just she kind of realizes, wait a second here, this doesn't kind of work with what I was taught and thought to believe in. And Catra sees that and wants to exploit that, and kind of really makes the rift between Adora and the Horde that much more bigger, and eventually will lead to her, I can't do this anymore. I'm not doing this. This doesn't feel right. And that's just a small example. That's just me spitballing, idea. I could get more thorough, more specific with more time with that, but it would be treating it with as much dignity as much as that property deserves. Like really, like the She-Ra story deserves to be treated with the most utter respect. Huntara, I would make Huntara a prominent character as well too.
See, I know that we give Tyler shit all the time about his ego and everything, but I will tell you this. I'm going to say this for everyone here, and it will be on record. You do have a lot of good ideas, and it shows that you care about it. You want it to succeed, but you want it to have the respect and honor that you feel like that it deserves. And I feel like most of the guys here in the chat tonight are like, you know what? Yes, this is the way these stories need to be told. So
thank you. I really appreciate you saying that.
I want you to know that. Now, I hope that your head doesn't.
No, because I when it comes to this stuff, I don't. When I say look at these pictures of me on the wall as a He-Man character, I'm like, those are ideas, thoughts I would love to see done in a He-Man story. Like they all have stories behind this stuff. Like I don't just sit around and you're like, how could I see myself look really good in pencil form here? You're like, no. It's like their ideas, their thoughts, their stories. Like they're every one of these. They're all adventure. Like the first one with Clank Champ and Lizardman chained at the wrist. I'd have them thrown in the arena of Doom, confronting Skeletor's evil warriors, much like Muscle Crow and I forgot how you pronounce his name, but in Gladiator, when they're thrown into the arena to fend for themselves and taking on all, like that's what I see. That's a story.
That's a movie I need to watch again. Actually, it's been far too long since I watched Gladiator.
Man. Yeah.
Zen Brown says, how soon can we have Mark Taylor back on the podcast? Because I have two questions that only he has the answer to.
That we always talked that we would try and bring them back when his book was really coming closer to being released. I know he's done like sketch releases and stuff like that too, but he had a book that he's working on with Axel. And once we got more info about that from Rebecca, plus as of right now, Mark's been in the hospital recently. Right. We just found out, so we're praying for a speedy recovery for him. But we definitely have intentions of bringing him and Rebecca back to discuss more about their work and allow listeners like you to ask your questions. What was that face you just made?
Sorry.
I look over to the side and you're like,
no, Blockhead said the Super Bowl will not be worth watching. Do a Motu Super Bowl fans of power. And he said that, and I had to look, and I'm like, great, the Patriots made it again, didn't they? And I looked, and I'm like,
oh, marvelous.
Fuck. And that's why I don't really like football anymore. Let's see. Would you make Huntara wheelchair bound small person for greater diversity?
Hell no. There would be no agenda bullshit on.
That's where She-Ra made the huge misstep. You put it in hands of people that want to, instead of tell good stories, they want to like force an agenda. And once you do that, it's lost, because at the end of the day, it's a cartoon that's meant for kids, technically. Obviously all eyes from people that grew up and are still fans and keeping it alive today, they're going to be locked in on it. At the end of the day, it's for kids. You don't need to throw all that shit in there. You just don't. There's no reason for it. There's no room for that kind of stuff. Like, leave that out. Just make it pure fun entertainment. Nothing else, nothing more. That tells good stories. I should say that as well. But yeah, there we go. I just want to throw Sportum says, is there like a time frame of when the Mark Taylor book is like?
No, No, I mean we just based on what we talked to him last, like we thought it would probably be out this past August, but we haven't heard anything else about that. Along with like William Stout had planned to publish a book with all his unreleased artwork for the live action movie. We haven't heard anything more about that too, or what the process with that is too. So, Joe's pretty close with Rebecca too. So I'm sure if we hear something more about that, then we'll try and make it work. Because they had a good time with us. He let the creator of He-Man and his wife, who was a very prominent role in that too, had a great time talking to us. It was pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'm hoping that when any of these guys return and come back, I mean, obviously I'll be here for it, but hopefully we can make that happen sooner or later. What is the book about exactly?
Pretty much his take on like his ideas of what he wanted He-Man to be. And he also has like a very very specific idea of the story that he wanted to tell involving He-Man and Skeletor, the use of magic. Like he had stories and thoughts, and he hired Axel to kind of help illustrate some of that stuff in the book. Like, he did the cover work, but there's also going to be like a couple of illustrations throughout the book, like for the stories and stuff. And on that episode, he threw out a couple of ideas. Like he felt like magic was only going to be used by evil. And that, like the heroes, like the heroic warriors, they don't use magic. Skeletor uses magic. Tila kind of promotes the use of magic, and He-Man kind of denounces her for that. So interesting ideas and concepts. Like he didn't like the take that He-Man took that Mattel spun it in, even though obviously the vast majority of us did love it. But I'm like desperate to hear what he had in mind for He-Man, and I think that's what the book is really supposed to be based on.
Right on. I see here PowerCon 2019. And has there been any announcements on PowerCon?
It's going to be in Anaheim, California, August 17th and the 18th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is this because they used to be in Los Angeles, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is a new
venue.
New venue, new space.
Yep.
I can't remember if we sort of talked to Val about this sort of off the air when you and I talked to him, but with it being in California, do you think that maybe it would do better if it was somewhere else, maybe possibly over here on the East Coast instead?
He tried it once and it failed because just not ticket sales justified making it, plus having to fly. Because most of these people who worked on him, they all live out in California. So that's why it was so much easier to have it there, and everyone is either driving it or maybe a small flight, whereas having it here, they all had to fly because he was going to have it in New York. And it got canceled before it really got going.
I suspect a potential invite to you and Joe, maybe.
Oh yeah, it's already been said, but when he puts it right when the students come back to campus.
All right, that's exactly. I guess I'm flying out to Anaheim. I will represent Fans of Power, and they'll be like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Hey man, I'm just here."
Hey, I'm on the podcast, man. I'm the longest running He-Man podcast going on. What do you do?
I just show up sometimes. I'm like, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to go, but like when he told me, it was like, God, that's just like when the students come back, man. Like that, it's just like it can't be a little bit earlier in August. It can't be in, any other time. It's like, no, we're going to have it around the same time we did last year. You remember when you couldn't make it then? We're having it again around that time.
You know what? You just need to tell your work. You'll be like, hey, I get someone to cover for me for 3 days. Well, because it's mostly a weekend thing too, right?
It's a weekend thing, but what bothers me too about that is to make the flight all the way out to California, get used to the time change, and then have to leave on Sunday to get back.
Yeah, I think you know what? I think we should do it. I think we should do it. That'd be fun. I'll go. I'll put on the paper mask. I'll be Joe Amato. People are like, yeah, you sound different. I'm like, yeah, I got a cold, but I didn't.
Hey, but I'm real cheap though. Like I didn't pay for any of this.
I didn't bring my hot sauce. You just make sure that I have like some McDonald's on me at all times, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, he was too cheap to pay for the room. He was too proud for me to pay for his desk, so he's sleeping out in the hallway.
Sleeping in the. I brought a tent. I'm in the parking lot.
Yeah. Cardboard box and just
no.
He customized it.
Well, that's the thing. You know what? If Joe would be willing to go, I feel like I would pay for his way to go, and I know he wouldn't do that at all. So it's never gonna,
Joe would actually pull a knife out on you for that.
Yeah,
how dare you want to pay for me to have a good time?
Yeah, he wouldn't even send his goons after me. He would just do it himself right then and there.
Yeah, that's when the mob boss decides I'll handle this personally. But yes, it would be awesome to go. But I mean, like when I miss work and it's due to like viral illness, I'm in bed throwing up. I'm getting calls from my boss and other people. Hey, how do we do this? How do we do that?
Well, you just gotta let them do it, man. We'll be at PowerCon.
I cannot. That's the thing. I cannot stay at home and throw up peacefully without being pestered because I'm the only one that does my job, and it's hard to explain that to people.
Now I can see you just sitting on the floor and like you're in front of the toilet and you're just like projectile vomiting. It's like getting all over the toilet, getting all over the floor, and like, oh, I gotta clean this, and your phone's going off. You're getting the phone calls and you put it on speakerphone. It's like, hey man, how do you do that? And you're like,
well, yeah, that's what's happened. It's not fun to feel like you're trying to recover and you can't recover because you're trying to make orders for people who don't know what the hell they're doing.
Hey, we're already getting people in the chat. It's like, you guys need to do it.
I know we need to do it. Plus, too, it's a big financial endeavor as well, too. Like, people could toss on all you want to pay for a flight to California, route back and forth, to pay for lodging and have money to run around with. Because I don't want to walk around there like, I would love to buy that Fright Fighter, but I got a moth in my wallet. You don't want to be destitute when you go to something like this. It's going to cost a lot of money. Nathan's all right with it. I'm on a single income here. So, it takes a lot of, money to do something like that. And I know Val's like, come on, you just do it. I'm like, okay, give me a credit card. No big deal.
Yeah,
it's really, really hard to do that. Like, yes, I've always fantasized about going to PowerCon. Because I would love to meet Val and Danielle, and to finally meet Axel after all these years too would be a real treat. And to meet all the people who've worked on the Filmation show or the live action movie. It would be an absolute blast.
And Val also said that you could kind of like have a panel too, right?
Yeah, that was something he had planned for like this past year. He was going to have like a podcasting panel. He was going to have, he threw Joe in, but Joe gave him the finger. And so therefore I'd have been there representing Fans of Power along with a couple of other people. I think Jeremy DeWitt was going to be there for his podcast. Danielle was going to be like a moderator for it, and probably Masters Cast was going to be represented there too. And we'd just be asked, it's hard to say what they would ask us.
I mean, we could go. I could take a laptop and you and I can just like do podcasts from the hotel room. I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
It would. I mean, don't get me wrong. It would be fun. Like going with Nathan, like it would be an absolute blast. Like I think we may have to be signing autographs the whole time at the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
We'd have to.
Yeah, right.
We have to be beating the groupies out. Like, sorry, girls, we got to go to bed here.
Oh,
they'd be like screaming at us when we get off the airplane. Like Beatlemania.
Yeah.
People throwing their panties at us and their ring keys and stuff like that.
No.
And then I look over like, oh my god, this pair of underwear's got a skid mark in it.
Well, yeah, Blockhead's already like, hey, you need to sell those "He Sat on His Face" shirts. I agree. I think we need to get the pixelated Andre sitting on Beefcake and have "He Sat on His Face."
Yeah,
we need to get with Joe, come up with designs, put all that stuff on Joe's thing, and
Howard, you know what? We need to stop relying on Joe because unless you people light a fire under his ass. We're not going to get any of this stuff. We can't get Joe to promote our stuff, let alone make you stuff to buy. So, what we need you all. I need
to get better at Photoshop or something.
Because Joe's gonna say, "Well, I forgot, guys. I was too busy hanging out in the street."
Hey,
smack him, yak him.
Oh, hey, don't be mean to Joe. Don't be mean to Joe. He's recovering. Be nice to Joe.
But it makes Joe part of the show. Anyway, Nathan's trying to see. No, he's doing what Joe does. Joe likes to burst my bubble, so Nathan's doing it right now too. Yeah. So Joe's spirit is living.
I gotta balance it out.
Yes.
The movie quote from Zentron. It's a squab. Here, birdie.
The Crow.
Is it? Zentron, you follow up with that. That might sound about right. It could be for something else too. Sorry, looking at the chat. Tyler, use this time to train somebody before PowerCon. That way you can make the money to go.
I'm not licensed to train.
You don't have to be, man. You just show
yes,
them.
you do.
Like, hey,
yes, you.
I'll make you.
Well, I mean, yes, I could do that. I tried to do that with Nathan. He had like an allergic reaction the second day, so I never got him in the gym.
Yeah, dude. You know what? You're full of shit.
You told me your left pec swole up. Like, what the hell did you do?
It was sore. It was
but you went and did bench again the next day. I'm like, you don't do that.
You overworked me. And then how many miles did we run that day?
We ran 2 miles.
And then I went to work like that night.
And went to go lift bench again the next day, which you don't do. And your girlfriend at the time told me you had an allergic reaction. Like he like
no. It was just really sore. Like, yeah, it swelled up a little bit, but I was sore. Like, I was super sore. Zentra, you were right.
To be sore.
Hey, you're right. You got it. It's the crow.
That's about time you quote something that's like not right at anything part 5 and 6 and Time Bandits. So thank you. or something that's like, yeah.
No,
yeah.
When I think of the crow, most of the quotes that pop in my head, obviously, can't rain all the time, but whatever. My favorite things, and I know languages, but you know what? We haven't really cursed this much, so we have a few words that we can use because normally
Joe usually drops a few F-bombs.
Yeah, he usually drops about 15 per show. So I like the bang, oh fuck, I'm dead, and I like when he's like, "How do you feel?" It's like, I feel like a little worm on a big fucking hook. And then I like the fired up thing when they're all swallowing the bullets and get pissed at each other. I like The Crow. That's a good film.
Yeah, I learned to like it a lot because my brother played the hell out of it. And he liked it because of Sting. Yeah. Plus, and everybody for Halloween for like 6-7 years straight, gotta be The Crow, man. Gotta be all goth, man, and Crow and Brandon Lee's dead, man. Because I relate to people who are dead, you know. If they ain't cool unless they're dead, you know.
Sportimus says, "Good to see you on the show, Nathan. Do it more often." I'm trying to. I kind of feel like I have been now.
I was gonna say, what the hell have you been? Nathan's been here all the damn time. Can't get rid of him.
Blockhead says, "I'm just saying, sponsors, affiliate sales, selling advertising like Google AdSense. I'll help where I can."
Are you offering?
Yeah,
just tell me that paycheck's in the mail, man.
Blockhead's going to be our financial supporter, our new sponsor. Oh, okay.
I mean, hell, I have like Adam and Eve, like, you know, hey, if you guys want to buy, you know.
Yeah, Blockhead's like, I'll gladly teach you what I can to help you guys out. I was like, all right, yes, I'll be in contact.
Yeah, I'll promote whatever. I don't. If we're getting sponsors and getting a small like $20 paycheck in the mail for just saying, hey, you know, go here and buy, you know what? It'd be great if Joe Amato was a sponsor of us, and Joe would send us money. Check out Joe Amato's Customs here, and we could just plug the hell out of it for, you know.
You know, someone I don't know if it's anyone here in the chat, but someone did design a logo for us, and I thought it looked great.
Yeah, it did look good. I saw it earlier this week. It did look good. Now, where's Nathan's logo? Where's my logo? Why don't we get logos?
You don't need one. Aren't you enough of a logo?
That's right. You know, I am a living work of art anyway.
Don't you have enough of that on your wall? Come on.
I know, but you can never have too much. You cannot product place yourself too much. You know?
I disagree.
Well, of course you would. You wouldn't be Nathan.
I don't think I see any more questions.
Are you guys done asking me questions here?
Wait. A JSP. This is in regards to The Crow. Did any of you guys see the deleted skeleton cowboy scenes? I did. It's an interesting idea. I think ultimately being left out didn't, maybe had been for the best, because I feel like maybe that was. It's already supernatural enough with him coming back from the dead. Kind of having that there, it may have been too much. But I like the idea of it. I thought the look of him was cool. Yeah. If you guys got anything else, Tyler, I didn't get a chance to talk about this on Retro. You want to give your thoughts on the Ghostbuster teaser? I know there wasn't much of anything, but are you kind of excited? For me, I am, but at the same time, I'm like, Harold Ramis is gone. This should have happened 20 years ago. I feel like the ship has sailed to a degree. Now, I like the idea because I did see reports of potential storyline stuff that it might involve kids, and I'm like, if you're gonna
that's where I'm like, oh,
well, if you can do it in a way that sort of mirrors like that Amblin style, like E.T., Gremlins, Stranger Things, Goonies kind of vibe, then I'm for it. But if it's going to go any other direction other than that with the kids, then not so much. So what are your opinions from that teaser? Are you kind of stoked for it?
The teaser I was pumped with, then I found out about the kids stuff. I feel like, look, there's no way they're going to capture like the Stranger Things aspect of it. I just kind of feel like they're going to try and mass market it to kids who are just so they can throw out social media terms and get them in because they're just moronic. I mean, I would really like to think that. I mean, just because it's is it Jason Reitman?
Yeah.
I mean, just because his father was Ivan and who did Ghostbusters, like, doesn't guarantee this is money in the bank.
Right.
However, I'd like to think that Ivan, would have a heavy influence on him. And the trailer was an homage to, with Elmer Bernstein's score and everything and the sound effects. It was definitely about as far removed from that piece of shit, Paul Feig, whatever the hell his name is. Paul Feig, hipster douchebag version of Ghostbusters. So, but with the kids, I'm like, because in general, the kids stuff that we have liked, like Cobra Kai, Stranger Things, has all been done outside of the Hollywood system. These were all done on streaming services, not in the Hollywood film, which makes me feel like Hollywood still doesn't know what it takes to write kids in a very likable manner, which makes me worry that I don't care who's involved with this film, that they're going to write the kids is just getting on your last damn nerve.
Yeah.
And if it's going to take a place in modern day, that scares me.
Yeah. Well, we're still, it doesn't come out till summer 2020. So there's still.
But I will be optimistic until I start hearing like, hey guys, we've cast Justin Bieber to play one of the goofball kids in the movie or some shit like that.
No,
I'm just saying something outlandish like that, where you feel like, okay, you guys clearly are not about trying to, So, plus, you got to remember too, Sony's still behind all this.
Yeah, Sony does not have a good track record.
No. So you guys don't hold your breath. I'm going to be optimistic until I see a little bit more about it, but. I was excited to see that trailer. I really was. Yeah. And then I saw the kid stuff. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, it was just a lot of stuff that dropped this week. John Wick
3 looked great.
I still tell you what I said in my text. I worry about Halle Berry just because she's iffy.
Poison. She tends to bring down whatever.
But it looked good. I like that scene where he's on the bike and there's like a V formation of other guys and they all draw their katanas out.
It's like he's taking on Yakuza mob or something like that.
Yeah, no, it should be good. I hope so.
Oh yeah,
the first two have been great. I expect nothing less from this one. I'm not gonna ask you really. We'll skip Spider-Man because I already kind of.
Yeah, it looks.
It's a Marvel film, so we already.
Yep. It's gonna be the number one comedy in America. Because that's what they're going for.
Yeah. Fedmon says, okay, Tyler, you'd be willing to model Adam and Eve thongs if we got sponsored by that company?
Do you guys really want me to model Adam and Eve thongs?
It might bring ratings. Might get some laughs.
If Joe promoted it, maybe. We have to get the word out.
You're still on that, huh?
Because,
Just let it go, man.
If I was asked by Adam and Eve, which I sincerely doubt they would ask us on a He-Man podcast, we're gonna need you guys to model thongs here to get the word out.
I'd wear it.
Well, I mean, of course, Nathan would do it.
Just don't flag the video or anything. Yeah. Inappropriate content. I would have to check that box. It'd be like, this is mature audiences only.
Yes, and you would have to stop watching this with your children, the few that you do.
Yeah.
But for a decent paycheck, I would. For a good payday,
you'd whore yourself out. It wouldn't matter, right?
It depends. Yeah, on the He-Man podcast at this point, if I can get paid for it, I'll put on a thong. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess let's go on that note. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Tyler, you got any recommendations? Things you want to tell the people to check out?
I feel like I had a couple of things. I mean, Kevin. I don't know if Kevin's still here or not. He may have got mad because there was no Chris Pratt references tonight.
Yeah, we didn't bring him up once, and once again, you said his. Oh wait, you know what?
I did say he was here.
Let's. Well, I'm saying Chris Pratt. I do want to bring that up though because it's hilarious because him and Arnold's daughter are engaged, and it couldn't have worked out any better for me. I feel like they did that was their sole purpose in life was to find each other and get engaged, just to make me happy and make you miserable.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I'm sure that like that
your favorite actor of all time is now going to be related to
my least favorite actor of all time. I mean, you can't write this kind of stuff.
I know it's perfect. It's like it was programmed this way to happen.
I mean, really, that kind of paints a scenario of like a great action. Like I have to go save the guy I admire the most. I have to go save his daughter from being, tricked into marrying like America's favorite douchebag, the most unfunniest prick on the planet. I got to load up with a bandolier of bullets and my team. We got to go all the way out to California.
What team? Who's on your team?
Well, you and if Joe.
No,
we get Joe.
I'm out, man.
Then I go solo. I get my bandolier of bullets. I go on my own with a machine gun and invade the wedding and save her and let Arnold know, you know what, your daughter doesn't have to settle for this Billy Jack bullshit. She can marry me.
Are you going to change your name up? Are you going to make it sort of similar to John Matrix? Are you going to be fuck it. We'll do the Carlin thing. Biff Webster. You're going to be like Chuck Steak. Any of those guys?
How about Butch Beef Broth?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're going to go some Red Brown on here.
Yeah, or some slab squat thrust. Bob Johnson. Dirk Hardpeck. There we go. Dirk Hardpeck. That'll be my action.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think it's hilarious. I already told Tyler when they get married, obviously there will be a picture of like Chris Pratt and Arnold standing together. I want to find that picture and just find a way to superimpose it on every episode of Fans of Power going forward. I'll make it my Facebook cover on Facebook. That'll be my cover photo. I'll find a way to hack into Tyler's account and change his cover photo and his profile picture to that and make it to where he can't change it ever.
And I'll just disappear. I won't be on the podcast. I will just have gone into seclusion. I'll have to wear a Joe Amato mask because I just don't want people to know where I'm at. So I can hide incognito and make it all the way out to California and just take out Chris Pratt.
Oh, my God.
Put a gag in his mouth, throw him in a trunk, throw away the key. And
someone will listen to this and be like, I can't tell if he's like serious or not. We might have to call the local authorities.
And I'll show up on CNN. They're gonna think I'm some sort of deviant or something like that. Hell, I don't know.
Some deviant. I like how you just say it all nonchalant. Some deviant
or God, people just can't. It's like they just can't wait to have people arrested for just nonsense.
Well,
I mean, if that were the case, Nathan would have been arrested a long time ago.
Well, true. Very true. All right, Tyler, any recommendations?
I will say check out Kevin Sharp's artwork. He's taking commissions right now, so if you have a kick-ass idea of something He-Man related, Marvel DC related, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, Batman 89, he loves Batman 89 just like I do, me, Nathan. He will take your ideas and thoughts and put them on paper. You can cross over whatever you want. He'll make it work. He's got beautiful artwork. It's all on Facebook right now. We're on DeviantArt. Check out Axel Jimenez's artwork. Check out Capes and Commentaries, the weekly podcast me and Nathan do for commentaries on classic 80s and 90s action-oriented cartoons from Batman, X-Men, Ninja Turtles, Rambo, Brave Star, Transformers. Cops. I mean, we just Dino Riders. We've covered all kinds of action.
I always like when you talk about that, and it's like a few words come out for the rest of your sentence, and then you remember another thing that we've done.
Yeah, because I just feel like if I just say Batman, like that's it. Everyone does Batman. It's like, no, we get specific here, people. We're not just doing the cookie cutter stuff. We're getting
we've covered a lot so far, and we will continue to broaden our horizons with that and cover more because why not? Some of that stuff. A lot of people know. Some of it needs to be revisited and have that love thrown their way.
Yeah, just an awareness podcast. Let everyone know, hey, there's a lot of great shows out there, regardless of what some prick on YouTube is like. Hey, man, Cartoons at the Edge were all like lame, and they were like gay and stuff. It's like, no, we're here to denounce those morons and say they're full of shit. So
Blockhead does ask, are we still planning to do the Batman 60s movie? Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Of
Absolutely.
Course. Yeah. It'll just have to be on another weekend where I'm not working overtime. We can have the time to do a full length feature.
Which may be with the following weekend, because I'm going out of town next Saturday for the day, so we're going to do Capes and Commentaries, which would be Rambo, episode of the Rambo cartoon next Sunday.
Right.
So check that out. Check out Beyond Retro. Me and Nathan did commentary for the 1986 Fly. If you like the Fly and just want to hear guys talking about their appreciation for it, check it out. It's on YouTube right now. And Beyond Retro podcast in general. We talk about if you like what we have to say about He-Man, you should like what we have to say about,
Well, you might
John
like
Carpenter
what I have
film.
to say. Tyler, on the other hand, you might just say, yeah, that guy.
Well, because we know how you're sympathetic and people like you because I'm the aggressor. You're the you're like the
you're the blowhard asshole. We've all
I am. That is me. I wear that title proudly.
But all that stuff that Tyler has mentioned, all the links are down below in the description. So feel free to click on that and click on all that stuff. Download us on iTunes or Podbean. And I want to suggest, like we do with Retro and Capes and Commentaries, you guys that listen to us on those audio platforms, head on over to YouTube at youtube.com/fansofpowerpodcast. Give us a subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified when we go live every Sunday at 9 p.m. unless anything changes. And that's why you need to ring the bell, as Joe always says. Because there might be a different day. We might do it on a Saturday. Might do it on a Thursday night. I can't see that happening anytime soon, but you never know.
Anything is possible.
Anything's possible.
Come up and, if I couldn't make it and Joe, I couldn't make it due to, his personal business, we probably wouldn't do the show at all, or we would rearrange to maybe do it on a Wednesday night. Who knows? Or no, we couldn't do it. We can't do it anyway anytime during the weeknights.
Well, you never know. I might get off early from work and just be like, "Hey, you guys want to do a show?" And they'll be like, "No, I'm tired." All right,
that would be me. Joe would be like, "Sure, man, let's do it."
Yeah, when Tyler brings up Beyond Retro, go over there and check that out and subscribe because I do some video game streams. A lot of late night ones, a lot of drunken ones. It's kind of been the theme as of late.
Mostly the latter.
But there are sober ones too. But I'm just saying, most of the time I stream video games, it's the weekend. I want to relax, want to have a good time, have my drinks, get tipsy, tell everybody I love them and everything. And I think once that channel gets some more subscribers, I can start doing some more stuff. It's like, hey, here, we're gonna live stream. Here's Emily making cookies. I don't know, something. Anything, a variety of things that we can do. But also, I want to say, check out the link for Joe Amato's mask. If you want your own Joe Amato mask, there's a link down there. You can take that, download the file, print it out, and there you go. You can be Joe Amato. Because who wouldn't want to be? Check out his t-shirts. Hit him up for a custom. This episode was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I thought we'd do a little over an hour, but all right, that's good. But
this just flowed naturally that way, dude.
Yeah. It just went. So I guess until next time, have a powerful day.
You're an asset, an expendable asset, and I used you to get the job done. Got it?
Am I going to disappoint you if I don't know this?
Oh, yeah. So you're filling in the Joe role pretty good.
Yeah, dude, I'm terrible at the quotes. Unless it's something that you and I have quoted to each other countless times. Or it's something I've watched countless times, and to be honest, they're the movies that I've watched a lot. You can't count too many of them, like a lot, to where I know it. Any hints? Give me a hint.
I praised the hell out of this movie and then some.
Oh, that doesn't do me. That doesn't do me any good because you're just like, yeah, Seinfeld's great, and I'm like, no.
I mean, I could get super specific and just give it right away, but let's just say it's in my top 3 films. Come on, Brad Dourif.
Oh, there you go, doing that again. I'm gonna have to say Cocoon. That was Steve Guttenberg, right?
Actually, it's Cocoon too.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Predator?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I mean, saying top 3 films, and I'm just like, all right, so Predator, What are your top three? Jaws.
Uh-huh.
What's the third one?
Come on.
I don't know.
Batman 89.
Oh, okay. I thought
Then
that one was.
Ghostbusters.
All right. I like how you have it all just drawn out. I've never had the list.
Predator's been number one ever since we saw Alien versus Predator in theaters, and I was like, I can't watch these movies. And like that Christmas, I watched Predator for the first time after Alien versus Predator. I'm like, okay. It was like watch it with new eyes, and it's been my number one film ever since.
Okay.
Yeah. I had to see the worst to realize the best.
Oh, man. Thank you, guys. We will see you next week. Appreciate all of you guys that joined us live. I kind of left that part out.
Well, thanks, everybody. Everybody that took the time to come join us tonight live, or if you're watching us later on this week. We appreciate anybody that devotes their time to listen to this, gripe and complain about how it needs to be or how it should be, or, listen to our thoughts on this stuff.
It's a beautiful thing. I like the community that we've cultivated with this show and Beyond Retro and everything. It's good stuff. Thank you guys again. See you next time.
Take care.